including a transfer of $250,000 to an offshore account created in Angela's name.
I'm trying to be respectful. Bitch, he's coming for that ass. This bitch. All right, look. I ain't going to be too long-winded. I got a new mic. I hope the audio sound better. It's a lot of shit. 2025, we coming stronger. I promise y'all. Valentine's Day coming up. If y'all been tuned in to like the Instagram and shit, y'all know I got a lot of bangers. They coming for y'all. Like, they coming out. So y'all stay tuned. Drive me crazy. If you want to crazy, we can take our time and slow it down. Take it all and time is done. You know what I'm saying? We got a couple of bangers for y'all. Little EP coming soon. But check it out, YouTube. Check it out. We finna get into it right now.
On March 15th, 2021, in the affluent suburb of Brookhaven, Atlanta, Georgia, what appeared to be a tragic accident would later unravel as a calculated attempt at murder. Jonathan Price, a 38-year-old architect at a prominent design firm, had built a reputation for designing high-end commercial properties across the Southeast. His wife, Angela Price, née Thompson, 35, owned a successful luxury boutique in Atlanta's upscale Buckhead district. The catalyst for their marital problems emerged in November 2020 when Angela met Derek Caldwell, a 28-year-old personal trainer at
It's something about the bald niggas. Like, you cannot trust them bald niggas. Like, look at that boy head, bro. Come on.
an upscale fitness center in Buckhead. Their initial professional relationship quickly evolved into an affair by December 2020. Bank records would later show Angela's frequent visits to a luxury hotel on Peachtree Plaza, where she met Caldwell during her claimed business meetings. Jonathan's first indication of trouble came on February 3, 2021, when he discovered suspicious text messages on Angela's iPhone while she was showering. The messages, exchanged with a contact saved as DC, contained explicit content and plans for future meetings. When confronted, Angela claimed DC was a female client, Diana Carter, and accused Jonathan of invasion of privacy. The situation escalated on February 28, 2021, when Jonathan contacted a prominent marriage counselor in Atlanta. Angela's vehement refusal to attend sessions and her statement that "you're the one working 80-hour weeks, you fix it" marked a turning point in their relationship. The events culminated on March 15, 2021, at approximately 9:45 p.m. The Prices were returning from dinner at an upscale restaurant on Peachtree Road, where they had argued about Jonathan's upcoming business trip to Miami. According to traffic camera footage later obtained by investigators, their 2020 Mercedes-Benz S-Class was traveling north on Peachtree Road when it suddenly veered off the road near a major intersection. The vehicle struck a mature oak tree at approximately 45 miles per hour. Impact analysis would later show that Angela had made no attempt to brake and had actually accelerated in the final moments before impact. The passenger side, where Jonathan sat, bore the brunt of the collision. Emergency services arrived at 9:52 p.m., responding to a 911 call made by Angela at 9:48 p.m. In the recorded call, she claimed, "There was a deer, it jumped out. I couldn't stop in time." Jonathan was transported to a major Atlanta hospital with severe traumatic brain injury, multiple facial fractures, really and internal bleeding.
Oh, it was a fucking deer. Like, who the fuck gonna believe that? Especially when they just said like the majority of the accident was on his side only. Like, that's shit ass excuse, but alright.
By 11:30 p.m., doctors had placed him in a medically induced coma to manage the swelling in his brain. Angela sustained only minor injuries, a sprained wrist, and superficial cuts. Within 48 hours of the accident, while Jonathan lay unconscious, she contacted Derek Caldwell via a newly purchased prepaid phone. Text messages recovered later would reveal their conversation. "It's done. He won't wake up. We can start planning." Initially, Angela played the role of the devoted wife perfectly, making appearances at the hospital and providing interviews to local news stations about the tragic accident that had upended their lives. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching any of our upcoming
It's
videos.
crazy because, like, what?
However, her composure and calculated actions in the aftermath would later become crucial evidence in understanding the premeditated nature of her actions that fateful March evening. During the spring of 2021, while Jonathan Price remained unconscious in the hospital's intensive care unit, Angela began systematically dismantling their shared life. By April 2021, she had listed their house for sale, claiming the property held too many painful memories. The house sold quickly for $1.2 million, with Angela transferring the majority of proceeds to her personal accounts. Throughout the summer, Angela liquidated multiple investment accounts and sold Jonathan's.
Yeah, the thing is, like, she over here thinking, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a new life. I'm gonna go crazy, get this money, sell the house. All that shit, we looking at all that shit. We looking at all of that. Like, we paying attention. We know what you're trying to do. And we gonna let you have fun for a little bit. A little second. Think you rich splurge. A little couple $100,000, little couple, the fuck? Watch. It's karma gonna come
Prized
back
collection of vintage watches. Bank records would later reveal transfers exceeding $850,000 to accounts solely in her name. She justified these actions to friends and family by citing mounting medical bills and the need to secure her future given Jonathan's uncertain condition. By September 2021, Angela had moved into a luxury apartment with Derek Caldwell in Buckhead.
Well,
The relationship, which Derek had...
So, I might have missed something. She doing all this for another nigga? Hell, who's the bald nigga? Because the nigga that they kept showing for the crash, that nigga had, you know what I'm saying? It was like a bald buff nigga to be. I don't know, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Somebody
initially viewed as a casual affair, evolved into a serious commitment as Angela lavished him with expensive gifts and promises of a shared future. She began introducing him at social events as her partner, explaining that while her husband was technically alive, their marriage had effectively ended. Medical records from this period show Angela's hospital visits becoming increasingly sporadic. The last documented visit occurred on December 12, 2021, during which she spent only 10 minutes in Jonathan's room. Hospital staff noted that she never inquired about his condition or prognosis during her brief appearances. On March 23, 2022, just over a year after the crash, Jonathan showed the first signs of emerging from his coma. Dr. Michael Rodriguez, the lead neurologist, observed increased brain activity and responsive eye movements. By early April, Jonathan had regained consciousness, though he remained severely weakened and confused. During his initial recovery period, Jonathan overheard two nurses discussing Angela's new life. One nurse remarked how Angela had been featured in a local lifestyle magazine, photographed at a charity gala with her new boyfriend. This conversation sparked Jonathan's first suspicions about his wife's actions during his incapacitation. As his strength returned, Jonathan contacted his longtime friend, Ryan Bennett, using a phone borrowed from a sympathetic nurse. Ryan's revelation about Angela's activities over the past year was devastating. He detailed how Angela had systematically sold their assets, including Jonathan's beloved sports car collection and their vacation property in Florida.
Hold the fuck. Hold on, nigga. Hold on. There ain't no way. I'm thinking like, oh, she just sold, the house that we living in, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Hold on. The vacation house, the sports car collection. What are we talking about right now? Could somebody fill me in right now? What are we
Ryan also shared his growing suspicions about the accident, noting inconsistencies in Angela's story about the deer and the strange angle of impact revealed in police photographs. Through careful investigation with Ryan's help, Jonathan accessed his financial records, discovering the extent of Angela's financial manipulation. The records showed large withdrawals beginning just days after his hospitalization, including a transfer of $250,000 to an offshore account created in Angela's name.
I'm trying to be respectful. Bitch, he's coming for that ass. This bitch took the sports car collection. Nigga, come on, bro. $250,000 after you already motherfucking.
Most disturbing was the discovery of Angela's internet search history from the weeks before the crash, which Ryan had managed to recover through a private investigator. The searches included phrases such as car accident survival rates, head-on collision fatality statistics, and life insurance payout spouse death.
Nigga.
By May 2022, Jonathan had regained sufficient strength to walk short distances. His medical team recommended at least another month of intensive rehabilitation, but Jonathan had other plans.
I don't give a fuck.
The mounting evidence of Angela's premeditated attempt on his life, combined with her brazen theft of his assets, drove him to action.
I need my money.
On May 15th, 2022, Jonathan checked himself out of the hospital against medical advice, leaving behind a brief note thanking the staff for their care. He had carefully concealed his improvement.
Because, I ain't gonna lie. I done got in a bad car accident. And when I tell you, I was looking rough for a cold minute, ooh, we was looking rough. You know what I'm saying? But look, nah, fuck all that. This nigga has a fresh fade. That motherfucker look clean. Nigga, I know ain't nobody. What kind of a barber coming and bless you up in the hospital? You know what I'm saying? Shout out my barbers. If I'm down bad, man, in the hospital, man, y'all better come bless me real quick. You know what I'm saying? Shoot a little music video in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Kavo, get a little tattoo while I'm in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Ari, gonna be braiding my hair in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Shout out the gang. But come on, bro. What are we talking about?
Hospital administrators, ensuring no one would think to warn Angela of his recovery. Using cash withdrawn by Ryan from a previously unknown account, Jonathan checked into a
2025, put the vape down. Put the vape down. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like a couple more years, niggas gonna be just like this nigga off the vapes though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We gotta put that vape down. Somebody just pick it. I'm finna start putting the wood and the guava down too. You know what I'm saying? Smoke that shit straight green. Fuck around, put the green down. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We gonna figure something out. Put that motherfucking vape down. That shit's down for.
Small motel on the outskirts of Atlanta, beginning his surveillance of Angela's new life and planning what would become his fatal confrontation with the woman who had tried to kill him. By June 2022, Angela Price and Derek Caldwell had established themselves in Alpharetta, an upscale suburb north of Atlanta. They purchased a modern townhouse using funds traced back to Jonathan's liquidated assets. Angela had carefully crafted a new narrative, telling neighbors that she was a young widow whose husband had tragically died in a car accident. The community embraced the couple, unaware of the dark truth behind Angela's story. Angela expanded her retail business, opening a second boutique location with Jonathan's money. She and Derek became fixtures at local social events, where Angela proudly displayed a 3-carat engagement ring. Derek, now working as a private fitness consultant, had fully embraced his role as Angela's future husband. Their wedding was scheduled for September 2022 at a prestigious Atlanta venue. From his temporary residence at a budget motel, Jonathan meticulously documented their activities. Using a telephoto lens purchased with borrowed cash, he photographed Angela.
I ain't gonna lie, this nigga right here, bro, I'm confused on which nigga was in the coma. Cause the nigga I seen in the coma had a fade. But the nigga they keep showing is bald. And then this nigga, they talking about this nigga. I think this Derek. But the nigga that, I don't know. They might not even be showing real pictures for all I know. To be real. So, I'm just a little confused right now based upon these pictures. Straight up.
and Derek's daily routines. His surveillance revealed a lifestyle built entirely on the proceeds of his stolen assets. Through careful observation, he noted their regular habits: morning runs at 6 a.m., Derek's client appointments, Angela's store hours, and their weekly dinner dates. Jonathan's psychological state deteriorated as he watched them enjoy the life that should have been his. Medical records from his brief consultation.
Like, bro, that shit'll fuck you up. Like, think about that, bro. Like, last thing you remember, bro. Like, you probably don't even fucking remember. If we being real, like, nigga just sitting there. Maybe you and your wife going through it, but like at the end of the day, you like, that's my wife. You know what I'm saying? That's the one. It's not my girlfriend. It's my wife. You know what I'm saying? We get into a car accident. Shit, I'm fucked. I wake up out of coma. We don't know what this nigga remember. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But then this nigga just like through the grapevine. Oh yeah, she took all your money. She took everything. She with another nigga living life. She got these motherfucking. She got these motherfucking what? She got what? Like, what are we talking about? You are not finna be with another nigga. You are not finna be running no businesses without me. I can tell you, we're not doing that. Put that motherfucking ring on your finger. They gotta be on this shit. We not doing that. I'm in the hospital. You trying to be alright. What Blueface said? Yeah, alright. No. Shit. What's for the happen?
Patients at a walk-in clinic during this period showed elevated blood pressure and symptoms of severe anxiety. He began recording video diaries on a laptop provided by Ryan Bennett, detailing Angela's attempted murder and subsequent theft. The evidence Jonathan accumulated was substantial. Working with a financial investigator recommended by Ryan, he documented over $2.1 million in misappropriated assets. This included the sale of their house, his car collection, and unauthorized transfers from his business accounts. The investigator also uncovered Angela's previously hidden credit card statements, showing significant purchases of luxury items in the weeks following the crash. Jonathan established a secure digital repository containing all evidence: bank statements, property records, medical reports from the crash, and recovered text messages between Angela and Derek. He included detailed timelines of Angela's activities both before and after the attempted murder. This digital archive was encrypted and shared with Ryan Bennett, with instructions to release it to authorities if anything happened to him. During his surveillance, Jonathan observed Angela's complete lack of remorse. He documented her laughing at social events, planning her wedding, and even joking with friends about upgrading from her previous marriage. Through long-range microphones, he recorded conversations where she mockingly referred to him as the mistake she had thankfully escaped. By early July 2022, Jonathan's planning evolved from documentation to action. He mapped out Angela's schedule, identifying potential moments of vulnerability. He noted that Derek typically worked late on Thursdays, leaving Angela alone at their townhouse. Using cash, Jonathan purchased disposable phones and created elaborate alibis. He established a false identity at a different motel, ensuring his movements couldn't be easily traced. The final phase of his plan took shape after he observed Angela's habit of having a glass of wine on their back patio each evening after Derek left. Jonathan meticulously sketched the layout of their home, noting security cameras and entry points. He began studying local police patrol patterns and emergency response times in their neighborhood. What started as a mission to gather evidence for legal proceedings had evolved into something darker. Jonathan's medical records would later show he had stopped taking his prescribed anti-anxiety medication, and his video diaries became increasingly focused on themes of justice.
I need to feel all of these feelings and emotions that I'm feeling right now. Like, I mean, not me, of course, but the situation at hand. Like, I need to feel this. Like, I need this. Fuck these pills to calm me down. All these motions running through my head, all these thoughts running through my head. Finna plan out, finna plot. I know she get drunk off that teleport, that Port Latte. She be drinking that Port Latte on a motherfucking balcony. Every time that nigga leave, she think life is good. She think life is motherfucking. I'm gonna show you how good life is for real though. Let me see.
And retribution
Happy
rather than
Valentine's
legal
Day.
recourse. Local
5150,
security
what you
footage
seeing
from
me,
this
probably money
period would
20.
later show Jonathan
Dog.
conducting dry runs of various approaches
Alright.
to the townhouse.
I'm used to a lot of
Testing
niggas
blind-
trying to get in her panties. Say I'm crazy, I crash out. I'm crazy, bitch. Don't make me crash out. That's how Cub feeling right now. Like, bitch, don't make me crash out.
Spots in the neighborhood security system. He carefully planned multiple scenarios, considering variables like weather conditions and neighbor patterns. His military-like precision in planning reflected a mind no longer focused on survival, but on revenge. On Thursday, August 4th, 2022, at approximately 8:45 p.m., during a heavy summer thunderstorm in Alpharetta, Georgia, Jonathan Price enacted his carefully orchestrated plan. Weather records show rainfall exceeded 2 inches that evening, providing cover for his approach to Angela's townhouse. Security cameras in the area were partially obscured by the heavy rain, which proved crucial in the subsequent investigation. Jonathan, wearing dark clothing and water-resistant boots, entered the property through the rear garden gate. Angela was following her usual evening routine, drinking wine on the
Drinking that motherfucking teleport. Because I done sat there and plotted out. Like, I'm mad that they don't got no, like, footage. Like, I be wanting to see, like, when he was like, yeah, I go up there that motherfucker with his little bald ass talking about some, bitch, sip that teleport, man. Teleport on the flow. Huh? Teleport on the flow. Pick it up.
covered patio while Derek was training his last client of the day at a fitness center 20 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
The thunder masked the sound of Jonathan's approach. When Angela turned to enter the house, she found herself face to face with her husband, whom she had presumed would never recover.
Nigga.
According to Jonathan's later confession, Angela's initial reaction was not fear, but rather annoyance, as if confronted by an inconvenient ghost from her past. The conversation began in the kitchen. Jonathan methodically presented printed documents showing bank transfers, property sales, and text messages between Angela and Derek from the night of the crash. Angela's attempts to deny her actions crumbled as Jonathan revealed the extent of his evidence. The discussion moved to the living room, where Angela's demeanor shifted from defensive to aggressive. Medical examiner reports would later show that the fatal confrontation occurred at approximately 9:15 p.m. The murder weapon was identified as a heavy crystal vase, a wedding gift from Jonathan's parents that Angela had kept as a trophy of her deception. Autopsy findings indicated Angela was struck 7 times with tremendous force, causing fatal cranial injuries. In the immediate aftermath, Jonathan methodically staged the scene. He scattered Angela's jewelry box contents across the master bedroom, forced open a window, and disrupted furniture to suggest a robbery gone wrong. He took Angela's wedding rings and other valuable jewelry, later disposed of in various dumpsters across Atlanta. The rain continued to pour as Jonathan left the scene at 9:45 p.m., carefully avoiding security cameras and using the storm drains to move through the neighborhood undetected. He had planned multiple escape routes, ultimately using the one that led through a wooded area behind the residential complex. Derek Caldwell returned home at 10:30 p.m., following his regular Thursday schedule.
See, this a whole hour.
His
A whole hour after your little fine shit. How fine is she now? How fine is she now? A teleport. Yeah. It's on the flow. But nah, on some serious shit, look. This is getting wicked right now. Y'all have to watch who y'all talking to. And y'all gotta watch what y'all do. Because certain shit might shut a nigga off. And we're here for it.
911 call, recorded at 10:37 p.m., captured his initial shock. "Oh my God, she's not moving. There's blood everywhere. Please hurry." First responders arrived at 10:43 p.m. and pronounced Angela Price dead at the scene. The responding officers immediately noted inconsistencies with a typical burglary. Detective Emma Castillo, the lead investigator, observed that while drawers had been opened and items scattered, the scene appeared staged. The violence was excessive for a random break-in, and several valuable items in plain view remained untouched. The medical examiner, Dr. Robert Sullivan, documented defensive wounds on Angela's hands and arms, indicating she had attempted to protect herself from the blows. Time of death was estimated between 9 p.m. and 9:30 p.m., based on body temperature and livor mortis. Crime scene technicians recovered partial fingerprints and DNA evidence, though the rain had washed away any potential evidence outside the house. Several neighbors reported hearing raised voices around 9 p.m. but assumed it was related to the thunderstorm's noise. Within hours, the
What? I'm hearing a lady die, getting smacked upside the head, screaming for her life, and I'm thinking it's related to the thunder outside. Ain't that the most white people are?
Alpharetta Police Department established a command center at their headquarters. The brutal nature of the crime and Angela's prominent status in the community prompted the chief of police to assign additional detectives to the case. As investigators began unraveling the details of Angela's life, the seemingly simple robbery-homicide quickly evolved into something far more complex. The investigation into Angela Price's murder began on August 5, 2022, when detectives Emma Castillo and Victor Reynolds arrived at the Alpharetta Police Department's Major Crimes Unit. Their first steps involved reviewing the crime scene photographs and preliminary forensics reports from the previous night's homicide. By noon on August 5th, the detectives had interviewed Derek Caldwell extensively. Security footage and multiple witnesses confirmed his presence at the fitness center from 7 p.m. until 10:15 p.m. on August 4th,
we know he ain't
including her marriage to Jonathan. The investigation took a significant turn when Detective Castillo contacted the Atlanta hospital where Jonathan had been treated. Hospital
Jonathan,
records revealed that Jonathan
Derek
had checked
is
himself out against
fuck-ass
medical
nigga.
advice on May
He is
15,
Jonathan.
2022.
We know he did. Tell me.
This discovery immediately altered the trajectory of the investigation, as Angela had been telling everyone, including Derek, that Jonathan remained in a permanent vegetative state. Between August 6th and
It's like, bro, like, it's like I was starting to feel bad because it's like at the end of the day, we dealing with somebody losing their whole life right now. Even though she tried to kill, bro, he survived, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm not saying she deserved to survive, and I'm not saying she deserved to die. But I was starting to feel like a little bit of remorse for what bro did. Like, damn, you really just took her life, banged her upside. But after, like, you just remind me, like, a vegetative state. Yeah, he just. Why are you lying on bro name? Like, what are we talking about right now? What are we talking about?
August 8th, detectives conducted interviews with 23 neighbors. 3 residents reported seeing a man matching Jonathan's description watching the townhouse complex during July. Security footage from nearby businesses, though partially obscured by distance,
we know he did it. Like,
these recordings provided a detailed account of Angela's attempted murder of Jonathan, her subsequent theft of his assets, and her relationship with Derek.
Yeah, we know all this.
The videos also documented Jonathan's deteriorating mental state and his growing
I want to
obsession
know
with
when
revenge.
like niggas is gonna start getting.
The evidence
sentenced and
recovered
shit.
from the motel also included detailed maps of Angela's daily routines, security camera blind spots, and multiple scenarios for confronting
You know
her.
what I'm saying? Y'all
Investigators
saw
found
this.
receipts for the boots and clothing worn during the murder,
Yeah,
along
y'all
with bus
said.
tickets and cash withdrawals that established a timeline of Jonathan's movements. Medical record and multiple angry text about Jonathan's state of mind. Bennett described how he had helped Jonathan gather evidence of Angela's crimes, believing his friend intended to pursue legal action rather than revenge. He surrendered email correspondence and recorded conversations that demonstrated Angela's calculating behavior during Jonathan's coma. Forensics teams processed physical evidence from the crime scene between August 5th and August 15th. DNA analysis confirmed Jonathan's presence in the townhouse, with his blood found mixed with Angela's on the crystal vase. Partial fingerprints recovered from the staged break-in points matched Jonathan's right index finger. On August 16, 2022, after compiling sufficient evidence, Detectives Castillo and Reynolds obtained an arrest warrant for Jonathan Price. A tactical team apprehended him without incident at a different motel in Marietta, Georgia. During his arrest, Jonathan appeared calm and resigned, making no attempt to resist or deny his actions. The state of Georgia versus Jonathan Price began on January 15, 2023, in the Fulton County Superior Court. District Attorney Marcus Wallace led the prosecution, while defense attorney Lisa Monroe represented Jonathan. The trial attracted national media attention, with major networks broadcasting daily proceedings. The prosecution opened on January 16, presenting a timeline of Jonathan's surveillance activities and preparation for the murder. Assistant District Attorney Sarah Mitchell highlighted the premeditated nature of the crime, displaying Jonathan's detailed notes and diagrams found in his motel room. The state's case emphasized the brutality of Angela's death, with medical examiner Dr. Robert Sullivan testifying about the 7 distinct blows that caused fatal cranial trauma. Lead Detective Emma Castillo testified for 2 days, presenting evidence of Jonathan's methodical planning. Surveillance footage showed him observing the townhouse complex on multiple occasions. The prosecution argued that the calculated nature of his actions, including the staged robbery and disposal of evidence, demonstrated clear intent to commit murder. Defense attorney Monroe shifted the narrative on January 20th, introducing evidence of Angela's attempted murder of Jonathan. Traffic reconstruction expert Thomas Davidson testified that the March 2021 crash showed clear signs of intentional action, with Angela accelerating rather than braking before impact. Forensic accountant Maria Rodriguez detailed Angela's systematic theft of Jonathan's assets, totaling over $2.1 million. Dr. William Parker, a prominent neuropsychiatrist, testified about Jonathan's mental state. He diagnosed severe post-traumatic stress disorder and explained how the combination of physical trauma, betrayal, and lengthy coma had severely impacted Jonathan's cognitive processing and emotional regulation. The trial's most compelling testimony came on January 25th, when Jonathan took the stand. For 6 hours, he recounted the destruction of his life, beginning with discovering Angela's affair and culminating in the fatal confrontation. His description of regaining consciousness in the hospital, only to learn of Angela's theft and betrayal, moved several jurors to tears. When describing the murder, Jonathan's composure broke. He detailed how Angela had laughed at his evidence, mocking his survival and declaring she should have finished the job during the crash. The crystal vase, he testified, caught his eye when Angela moved toward her phone, threatening to call security. The prosecution's cross-examination focused on Jonathan's surveillance activities and detailed planning, attempting to establish premeditation. However, Jonathan maintained that his preparations were initially aimed at gathering evidence for legal proceedings, with the confrontation turning violent only when Angela taunted him about the attempted murder. Closing arguments began on February 1st. The prosecution emphasized the premeditated nature of Jonathan's actions, while the defense argued for consideration of his diminished mental capacity and the extraordinary circumstances that led to the crime. The jury began deliberations on February 3, 2023. After 5 days of discussion, they reached their verdict, guilty of voluntary manslaughter rather than first-degree murder. Judge Michael Hawkins delivered the sentence on February 10, ordering Jonathan to serve 15 years in state prison with possibility of parole after 8 years. The sentencing hearing included victim impact statements from Angela's parents, who acknowledged their daughter's crimes while mourning her death.
You know, if we being real, let me know what y'all think down in the comments. We out of here.